Okay, welcome to Computer Components and Operations. We are going to call our course COCO. That's the short form of our course. Today we are going to be doing two things. One is talk about the course in general, course overview. What are the different, things that are involved in this class, people involved in this class, the online platforms involved in this class, when are the exams, and so on. And we will start our first lecture on number systems soon after that. I hope you guys are able to hear me properly. At this time, you guys should make the slides that I'm sharing with you guys should be your bigger screen. So Tyler, I'm going to get to the studios and the equipment conversation in a few minutes. There is a lot to unpack there. Okay, so we are going to talk about a course overview. However, there is a detailed syllabus that has been posted on Piazza, and I'm going to let you guys read through the details. I'll touch on the more important points in the syllabus. These slides that I'm presenting to you right now, they have been uploaded to Piazza, so you guys don't need to note down every little detail. You can simply look at the slides and follow along over there. And that applies to every lecture that we will have throughout the semester. I will be posting before class and after class slides. What are the objectives of this course? This is primarily a digital design class in which we will start with number systems, expressing numbers in different bases, different forms, different representation. What do we do with signed numbers? What do we do with unsigned numbers? What do we do with integers and fractions? So we're going to deal with all of that first. Then we are going to go into operations on binary variables, Boolean algebra. We are going to go to Karnaugh maps. And then we will also be dealing with combinational and sequential logic design. So those are the two main topics in this class, combinational and sequential. In combinational circuits, we will be dealing with interesting components such as encoders, multiplexers, drivers, arithmetic logic units, and so on. And as we go to the second half of the semester, we will be dealing with how do you design or analyze sequential circuits such as latches, flip-flops, registers, counters, and the very interesting finite state machines. So we are going to build on top of each topic, finally ending with memory and a lecture on basic computer organization. As far as studios are concerned, we are going to be dealing with FPGA-based studios. That is the reason why I sent out that note regarding purchase of Basis 3 FPGA board. I'll talk more about that later on. We will also be doing some digital design simulations using LogicWorks. So I'm going to be the instructor. My name is Dr. Mahmood Hamid. When I went through the people who have joined this class, it looks like several of you have taken a class with me before, so that's good. If you have not, then we will get acquainted this semester. My email address is listed over here. My office hours are going to be on WebEx meetings platform, and I've listed my office hours every week. So Wednesday 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time, and Thursdays and Fridays for 1 hour each from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So on Fridays, you can think of it as an extension of the class for an hour's time. If you have any questions, we can just keep going for another hour. But you also have other times in which you can just click this link and join to get my help. We have many people that are going to be involved in this class under teaching staff. Our lead TA is going to be Bowen Tang. Bowen has TA'd this class in an online format last semester. He did a wonderful job, and he's going to be our primary teaching staff member. He's my lead TA. His email address is listed over here. The studio sections that each of these teaching staff members are going to be assigned to, they are also listed over here. There are 3 sections for this class, 1, 2, and 3. The way you guys are split up into 3 different sections is essentially a different time that you would go to the studio on Wednesdays. But everybody has the same lecture. So sections 1, 2, and 3 can look at the personnel that are assigned. These people will be helping you out with your studios. On the rightmost column, I have their office hours. In other words, WebEx Teams help sessions. They are going to be available at those times. All times over here are Eastern time. So for example, if I look at Bowen's times, on every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, he's going to be holding a WebEx Team help session. And I'll talk more about why specifically we have sometimes on Tuesday evenings, Wednesday morning, and Wednesday late night. I'll talk more about that. So we have 3 graduate TAs, Bowen, Heshan, Hongji. Their email addresses are listed over here. And we have 3 undergraduate student assistants also helping out. Isaac, Jerry, and Ningwan have taken Coco with me actually exactly 2 years ago. They were all in Coco in the spring 2019 semester, and they are absolutely brilliant students. Of course, they all got A's, and they are going to be an excellent resource supporting our TAs this semester. So please take full advantage of all the 6 members, and maybe in the next week or so we may also add to this list. Right now this is how it stands. Now let's talk a little bit about the office hours. Last semester we learned that students when they try to go to their each section, say section 1, and get help from a TA, it tends to be a bottleneck because a lot of people are trying to get a limited amount of resources. So what we did last semester, and we are going to continue to do it a little bit more this semester, is we are going to spread out the amount of help that is available to you guys, so that if you want to work on it earlier than your studio time, you can do that. If you want to get help in making progress on your FPGA studio, you can do that at other times apart from those specific studio section times. So for example, if I look at Tuesday evening leading up to Wednesday, before you go into your section, studio section, you can make some progress. So on Tuesday we have help from 6 to 8 and 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. We also have 2 hours on Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, we have an alternate studio section on Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and also 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. The main purpose of these alternate studio sections is, well, 2 reasons. One, there are many students that are international. Say, for example, they are taking this class from China, and in order to help them manage their time better due to time zones, we are going to offer a little bit more time. Also, if students are sort of, a little bit late, working a little bit late, and they have some last minute things to complete, they can go to these sessions. But everybody should plan to attend their allotted, or I should say selected, studio section, whether it be 1, 2, or 3. And I hope you guys know which section you belong to. All right. I've created a WebEx Teams space for the entire class. The title of that space is Coco Spring 2021. And under that WebEx team space, right now there are 4 subspaces. One is general, into which everybody is added, but there is also a subspace for section 1, 2, and 3. So section 1 students should of course be added to section 1. If you have not joined it, you can just click on that and join yourself as well. Now we are going to add to those subspaces. We are going to have a subspace for each of these help sessions. And as you guys move into smaller teams of 2, you guys will be creating your own subspace in order to work with your partner. So all of that is going to happen under our class. Questions so far? Okay. Let's talk about the components for this class. The lectures are every Tuesday and Friday from 2:30 to 4:20 p.m. This link that you used to join the class today, that will be the same link on WebEx Teams meetings that you will use for the entire semester. The classes are going to be recorded and they will be published on a YouTube channel that I use for this class. Studios, we have 3 sections on Wednesday. We are going to be focusing on learning VHDL and applying those skills on FPGA related boards. And we are going to also focus on simulating digital designs using LogicWorks. So Kang asks a question: how long do we usually have to work on our studios? Generally, you will have about a week. If it's a complicated studio, you might have 2 weeks. But my recommendation is going to be that you work on the studios early and then go to your studio section times to get help or to get checked off with a TA. But the absolute deadline to submit studio reports can be found on Piazza, because I say Studio 0 tutorial due date February 3rd. I'll talk more about that in just a second. Now, in general, studio will be required. You will need to demonstrate that you have a working FPGA design. Right, so you need to demonstrate to your TAs or undergraduate teaching assistants. That demonstration is a must. You will also be writing a report. That report will be submitted through Gradescope. So 2 things need to happen for studios. Let me highlight them here. One is to demonstrate, and that demonstration can happen. Most of them will happen during the section times. But you can also use these times for help and getting checked off in order to not make this a bottleneck. So demonstration to the TAs or undergraduate student teaching assistants, please make sure that you remember to do this. Otherwise, your submission of report on Gradescope will not be valid, right? So 2 things: demonstrate work, submit the report. Homework is also assigned. For example, homework 1 was posted some time ago. It is due in a week's time. So the first homework was posted. Well, it was active today and it will be due Tuesday of next week. They will be assigned on Piazza and they will be due on Gradescope. I have added all of you to both these platforms, and if you don't have access to the class Piazza page or Gradescope, please send me an email or a text on WebEx Teams so that I can add you to them. Let's see, is there a way to see if we got marked for demo? Well, there is not a way to see it, but if the TAs inform you that you have completed your demonstration, you can assume that you have a check mark for that demo, right? So we are going to have about 8 studios. At least 6 of them will be FPGA based studios in which you require the Basis 3 board. And as you demonstrate, people will be filling up an Excel sheet where we track who demonstrated and who didn't. And if we see that people are not demonstrating that work, we will reach out to you. Okay. We are also going to be having short quizzes. I call them daily quizzes. This is for 2 reasons. One is attendance. The second reason is in order to keep track of student learning. I want to make sure on a constant basis how much you guys are understanding the material. These are open book, open notes. These are available on Gradescope throughout the day, throughout each class day. So from midnight to 11:59 p.m. So you have 20 hours to attempt unlimited amount of times generally for multiple choice questions. In the past, students have finished it in less than 10 minutes. So these are not supposed to be very long, like homework type questions. These are very simple multiple choice questions, but they are part of your grade. So I hope that everybody takes them seriously and also tries to get as many points as possible in every quiz. Quiz 1 is available for you right now. Took about 2 minutes. Andrew says just took about 2 minutes. Right, absolutely right. Some might be longer than others. What subject material is it on? Well, for the first one, it is sort of a general questionnaire, but as we go through the lectures, it will be based on the lecture that you had previously. So in lecture 2, I will be asking you questions that were learned in lecture 1 or lecture 0. So all lectures before that, right? But I'll be focusing on the most recent material. Can we resubmit if we notice a mistake? Absolutely, you can resubmit unlimited amount of times as long as it is before the due date. So before 11:59 p.m. Eastern, you can submit as many number of times as possible. As many number of times as you want. Okay, let's see. Open book, open notes, but they are individual assessments. Okay, we are not going to have short quizzes on exam days, but every lecture day you will have a short quiz to complete. All right, let's see. We are going to have 2 midterm exams and 1 final exam. The midterm exam 1 is scheduled for February 26th. That should say exam 2. Exam 2 is on April 2nd. Final exam in that week scheduled by the registrar, so I don't know the date just yet. And I will be discussing logistics for each exam as we get close to the exam days. I need to figure out the composition of the class, how many students are remote, they are online, which time zone, and based on all those criteria, I will be discussing the logistics about the exams. For now, you can assume that they will be online exams and they will be open book, open notes exams. Okay. If you need, I'm not sure, Andrew, 24 hours or not. So that is something that I need to look at. Like I said, I need to figure out the time zones in which you guys are located, and then based on that, I will decide the time for the exam. I will keep you guys posted. More details to follow. Okay. If you need extra time accommodations, please send me your DSS note as soon as possible, and that will help me plan early about how many students are needing the extra time accommodations. So just send me an email with your DSS note. What about studio this week? Before I get into all of this, I just want to talk about one thing in general, right? Let me list it out over here. There was a reason for me to send you guys an email and ask you guys to buy the equipment as soon as possible. The reason is, depending on where you are located, the shipping times can be very different. And I want you guys to have the board as soon as possible and not wait or delay the purchase, right? So I want you guys to get it as soon as you can. However, there are some limitations. For example, if you are a student who is living on campus, then you will not be able to access your mailbox until February 8th. You will not be able to go there, which is why there is no absolute hard deadline before February 8th. Let me talk a little bit more about that. Let's talk about first 3 weeks, right? So let's talk about Jan 27th. This is specifically for the studios, guys. What do you do on Jan 27th? Well, you do this. You find your WebEx Teams space for your particular section on WebEx Teams platform. You can meet and greet your TAs and undergraduate student assistants. They will give you sort of an introduction about how the studios are going to be run, what is going to be involved, and whatever logistical question that you may have, they will help you answer that. The other thing that we can do on Jan 27th is to get started with Studio Zero. Studio Zero is essentially installing the software that we will be using to program our FPGA boards, right? And I've already provided that document. The instructions to install are under the Studio Resources section. Oh, Naif, yes. It's not through the bookstore. It is. You can buy it through Digilent. You can buy it through Amazon. You can. Right. So if you look at the post on Piazza, you will see the links. If you are in the US, the best way, probably the fastest way to get it is Amazon. Amazon Prime will get you in maybe a couple of days. Okay, so let's see. So you can spend time on Studio Zero, which is tomorrow. Ian, that is so refreshing to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. So Ian has ordered. Andrew also ordered and got it in 2 days. So if you are in the US, it's pretty straightforward to get it. The problem is the students that are on campus in quarantine, right? That's the problem. Well, not a problem, it's a constraint, but we will soon get through it. Now, what do you do on Jan 27th? Coming back to this, you meet and greet TAs, ask them questions about how are the studios going to run, and they will tell you, some good pointers as well. but the goal is to get familiar with the WebEx team space, the usage, the platform itself, and getting used to and familiar with people who are going to be helping you guys. Not all of them may be available this week because not everybody has completed their paperwork, but most people will be available this week. Now, you can also get started on Studio Zero. So let me write it down here. Jan 27th. Meet staff. Second, start Studio Zero. Studio Zero is essentially a tutorial that walks you through a very simple VHDL code, and then at the end of it, you will program your FPGA board. The programming of the FPGA board is not required just yet, but everything else, installing the software and going about the studio, except for programming the board, you can still do most of the Studio Zero. So Jan 27th, plan to install software and get started on Studio Zero. On Feb 3rd, you try to complete Studio Zero, but programming the board is optional. If you have the board and if you are able to program the board using your USB cable, then you can do it. Otherwise, everything else in that Studio Zero will need to be done on Feb 3rd. That's Studio Zero, by the way. Then we come to the most important one, which is Feb 9th. That's when you're going to start working on Studio One. Let's see. Same as that. Yeah, I got mine in 2 days. Digital discount. Okay, is a test program, so we know it works. Well, you can test your program. You can write a test module in VHDL in order to test your designs, but we are not there yet. So essentially, the idea is to send test signals to your design and then see the output, but we are not there just yet. So what you should plan to do is plan to complete your code by Feb 3rd, even if you are not able to program it. And then you can actually start working on Studio One on Feb 3rd. But I'm going to make Studio One due the week after Feb 9th. What is that? Feb 17th, 18th is right? Feb 10th. This should be 10th. Feb 17th is a Wednesday. Yes. So I suppose the hard deadline to have the board is Feb 16th, right? That's the hard deadline. It's good to have it before that, but you absolutely need it on or before Feb 16th. But remember, you only need the board to test your design. You don't need the board to actually do the design, right? You can still complete your VHDL code, make sure it runs, make sure it generates the programming file. You can do all of that. Just the testing part, you will need the board, right? So make sure that you're aware of the fact that you only need the board to be able to test your design. Okay, questions? Can we get checked off early? Absolutely right. That is what I'm hoping for, Annie. That is exactly what I'm hoping for. That is why we have help sessions on Tuesday. We have help sessions on a Sunday. We have help session on Wednesday morning. The reason is people who are working ahead can get checked off so that there is during the studio times itself, there is not a bottleneck. Okay, so what do you do? Start working on Studio 1 on Feb 3rd, but Studio 1 will not be due until Feb 17th, right? Other questions? So we are spreading out the first few weeks, but after that things might not be this fluid, right? That you will have a little bit more every week submission kind of a deal, more or less. Some studios are complicated. For that we will have more time. Let's see. Click on Studio 0 on Piazza and it send me to a PDF for Studio 1. Did it? Studio 0, if that is the case, I will, hold up. Let me check. Right here, if I go into Studio 0 on Piazza and if I click on it, no, it is the proper one, right? It is the tutorial. This is the tutorial, guys. So tutorial on Vivado Design Suite, that is your Studio 0. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It's just the name of the file, I think. Okay, I will change that. But hopefully you can see over here, it is listed as Studio 0. All right. No. Okay, so I hope after that discussion, you guys are a little bit more relaxed in terms of when to get the board and what to expect in the coming weeks as far as studios are concerned. Any other last minute questions about the studios? Also, is there a no, there is no website for this course. The one-stop shop for all the material is Piazza. I like how Piazza sort of has things organized, and I will use Piazza for this course. Thank you, Bradley. I missed you too. All right, let's see. Studio this week is done. Next, homework assignments. Homework is assigned every week. They are assigned on Piazza. They are due on Gradescope. You are welcome to have a discussion with others about the homework problems. If you need help, you can get help from the teaching staff. You can stop by my office hours. You can post questions in the general space. Just don't go for the answers directly, but if you need help in trying to make progress, that is fair game. So even though discussion is okay, copied homework is not, right? So copied homework will receive a grade of 0. So please make sure that you're not involved in such things, but repeated violations will lead to failing the class. So please make sure that you are aware of these things. Okay, let's see. Another note about homework, the submission on Gradescope will close automatically, and I try to stick to the no late rule. So make sure that you are aware that I'm not going to be accepting late homework. You will have 1 week to complete it. So make sure you get it in before it is due. 11:59 p.m. after a week. Homework 1 is available right now if you want to get started with that. Okay, let's see. Grading scheme. We have short quizzes that are going to be for 10% of your grade. This is on Gradescope, every class day, sort of a 5 to 10 minute exercise, 4 multiple choice questions. That's 10% of your grade. Homework is 20% of your grade, assigned on a weekly basis. Studio is 20% of your grade, assigned generally on a weekly basis, apart from the first couple of weeks. Midterm 1 and midterm 2 exams are 15% each, and the final exam, which is cumulative, is 20%. Grade cutoffs. Now, as a first approximation only, you guys should try to target for these particular ranges, right? So if you want to earn a grade in this class, you should try to shoot for a overall weighted average of greater than 93%. Let's see, there's a question in the chat box about midterms, right? So midterm 1 will cover everything that is before midterm 1. Midterm 2 exam will cover everything between midterm 1 and 2. They are not cumulative, but final exam is cumulative. All right. So this is the first approximation, guys, and a lot more details about how I determine grades at the end of the semester. I have listed them out in the syllabus with examples as well. So if you're interested to learn more about how grades are computed, please read the syllabus document. But this is essentially, the goal of this is to give you a target to aim at, right? So that's a first approximation based letter grade. Regarding regrading request. So as you know, in Gradescope, you can apply for regrades, and for homework and studios, you can do that, but it has to be within 2 days of receiving your graded assignment. So as we make it, as we publish the grade, within 2 days, you will be able to look at the solutions and then apply for a regrade request explaining to the grader why you think you deserve a higher grade. Okay, so let's see. I haven't received any email about my Gradescope yet. What should I do? I'm going to check on this. Can you guys send me a message on Gradescope? If you're not on Gradescope, just send me a message on WebEx Teams or email me, and I will add you to those platforms. And it is all right. Thank you. I will follow up on that after the class. It is important that every student in this class is added to Piazza, Gradescope, WebEx meetings, WebEx Teams. These 4. Okay. So homework and studios, you can apply for a regrade request on Gradescope itself within 2 days. However, for exams that are a little bit higher in terms of weightage, you have a week to do this, but we are going to accept email requests explaining why you think you deserve a higher grade. In that email directly comes to me, and you will have 1 week after grades get published to appeal for an exam regrade. Annie asks a question about format for the homework. The format of the homework is essentially up to you, right? Some people might choose to write things on a piece of paper, showing the work is important. And then after you write things on a piece of paper, you can scan them in to Gradescope. Or if you want to type things into a Word editor or any editor of your choice, a text editor, you can also do that, but make sure that you show your work and thinking, and then you can upload that. Oh yes. how how do we show work for code? Not for code. I'm talking about homework, right? Homework, you don't show code. Homework is, you working through a problem. But the way we check your code is essentially by asking you to demonstrate things to a TA. All right, let's move on, guys. Now, something that is not very pleasant to talk about, but we have to absolutely need to talk about academic integrity. I have written up 2 documents essentially. One is the academic integrity policy for the class that everybody needs to read, sign, and submit on Gradescope. And there's also another document acknowledging the use of digital tools for this class. So there are 2 forms that I've attached to Piazza, and the submissions are through Gradescope. So make sure that you guys read them carefully, sign them, and then upload them. And if you have any concerns, please let me know and we can talk about that. The things that you can work with others, maybe your partner, for example, are studios. Homework, you can get help from the teaching staff members or other people in this class. However, exams are individual assessments, strictly individual assessments. Last semester, a few people got into trouble. Even though, it's an online exam, it turns out it is pretty straightforward to kind of notice if things are fishy. So they got into trouble last semester, and I want to warn you guys that for exams, make sure that you are doing your own work. For other things, you can discuss and submit your own work. In terms of Quartz Material, I don't take the L. Don't take the L. Take the win, right? Like, don't take the L. I think there is a way to win without doing that. All right, let's talk about recommended texts. You see how I call them recommended and not required? Because there's no required textbook for this class. I'm going to be going through the course material in a lot of detail, and we will do a lot of examples, a lot of writing. So I don't require you guys to buy a textbook, which is why you save the money from the textbook. You buy the board. But so our Wakerly 4th edition is the recommended text, and there are some reading assignments that are that go along with our lectures and the sections in the textbook. I have uploaded a document on Piazza indicating those sections. There's another textbook that has Logic Works. That's the textbook and that's the software. But right now, I want you guys to hold off on buying the textbooks. If you are a reader, go ahead and buy Wakerly 4th edition. But do not purchase the software just yet. When we actually get into Logic Works, I'll talk more about that. There are plenty of resources. This is a digital design course that has been here for decades, and obviously there are multiple textbooks, lot of information on the internet, many videos on YouTube. So there is a lot of information out there regarding the subject material. But as long as you are following the lectures and you are engaged in this class, that is all you will need for the assessments in this class. Okay, so let's talk about the course material. How is it going to be distributed? As you can see, all the way on the left, you have Piazza, which I use for almost all the course material. So announcements, syllabus, lecture notes, recorded lecture, links, handwritten notes, homework solutions, studio solutions, general resources, studio resources. Everything goes on Piazza because it's very, very efficient in terms of Andrew. Yes. So Piazza is very good at distributing material and organizing material, and I like it. I've been using it for many years, and I will continue to use Piazza as the one-stop shop for all the course material. GradeScope is going to be used to submit and grade everything in this course. So all the short quizzes happen on GradeScope. All the homework, studios, exams, all of that happen on GradeScope. Submissions and grading. And I suppose many of you have already done this kind of a deal, so you don't need any more information over there. However, if you need some help with GradeScope, there are GradeScope guides that I have added to Piazza under the general resources section. So make sure you take a look. That will give you an idea about how to upload a homework on GradeScope. And I also have a YouTube channel. Actually, I have so far I have 2 YouTube channels. One for the summer of this, once for when I offered this class in the summer, and then in the fall, and I have a new one for the spring. So if you're interested in looking ahead, watching ahead, you guys can do that as well on those YouTube channels. But for most people, what would work is I record the lectures during class, and then I provide the links to the recorded lectures on Piazza under resources section, and then you can access those videos from there. A very, very important note: if you aren't on Piazza, GradeScope, WebEx, Teams, WebEx meeting, please let me know. And this needs to happen as soon as possible. I am not 2 channels. No. Sorry, I meant 2 playlists. One playlist. I don't make any money out of YouTube, man. Let's see. All right. That is it in terms of course overview. Now I can take questions regarding lecture Z. And let me stop recording here. We don't need